This episode of the GSE podcast is brought to you by Fort Brand, not your everyday GSE provider. We go beyond belt loaders and bag tractors, offering tow barless pushbacks, de-icers, and airport maintenance equipment, all available on demand across North America and the UK. Whether you need electric units to support your ESG goals or traditional equipment for today's ramp, Fort Brand delivers flexible leasing with the option of full-service maintenance to keep your fleet at peak performance. When you partner with Fort Brand, you get more than equipment. You get expertise, reliability, and a commitment to keeping your operation running smoothly. Visit fortbrand.com to learn more.
This is Brad Compton.
This is Luke Brown.
This is Jeff Barrett.
This is Tessa Fasen, and you are listening to the GSE podcast.
All right. Well, welcome to another edition of the GSE podcast. This is a special edition today because we have a launch that we're going to talk about that is going to happen at the GSE Expo in Las Vegas on Tuesday morning of the show. So I got a call from Joe Griffith from Malahan. This is only the second time he's done this to me and surprised me with a new podcast, but it's always good to get great content out there. And these launches are really special. And this is the second time that I think that Joe has decided to do a really cool launch at an expo. Last year he did the Sky Belt. Is it the Sky Belt, Joe?
Well, we did the Sky Belt, but it was the electric lab truck for Lisbon.
You're right, in the electric lab truck for Lisbon. So anyway, Joe is back on the podcast, but he's got a couple of people with him. So why doesn't everybody kind of go around, and we're going to make them listen a little bit longer to figure out what this special launch is. So go ahead. I'm going to start with Michael Bloomfield. This is your first time on the podcast.
First time, yeah. I was brought on really as a consultant and advisor by Joe and the parts team to enhance the business, make a better customer experience for Mallahan's customers that need replacement parts for their machines. And we, in the last year and a half or so, we did a tremendous amount of work fixing, rearranging, and dressing up the business.
Yeah, and Michael Bloomfield, I should have said that you needed no introduction, but I missed that. But Joe Griffith, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Joe Griffith, Chief Commercial Officer for Malahan. And Matt, thank you for the opportunity. Always like to spring these things on you, a little bit of surprise, so I appreciate you supporting us. As Michael said, we've done a lot of really exciting things with Malahan in the past couple of years, both in terms of product launch, but also new systems and new ways to bring value to our customers. So really appreciate that opportunity. Michael needs no introduction, but I do feel like I need to say, for the new generation that's coming into GSE, Michael founded and built Sage Parts and really took it to become a preeminent leader in the spare parts business. So Michael sold the business and went into working with companies and projects, and we took the opportunity to bring him on board and use his experience and knowledge to really take our business to the next level. So I'll hand it over to Stevie from here.
Thanks, Joe. Stephen Farron, Head of Customer Care and After Sales Services with Malahan. Glad to be here today, Matt. I think me and you had a couple of exchanges a few times about doing this, so it's took Joe to bring us together. And no better time, I suppose, with this exciting launch we have now on Tuesday. So again, just with the help of, obviously Joe and Michael, we've got this exciting opportunity to launch something a little bit different, we think, especially from an OEM within the industry. So looking forward to Tuesday, and I'll pass it over to Ryan from there.
Thanks, Stevie. Yeah, I'm Ryan McElhone. I'm spare parts manager for Malahan. So while Stevie would oversee the parts business as a whole, I'd be more hands-on in the day-to-day side of things for both the rest of the world and America. So we both have a lot of ideas over the past several years between the two of us and Joe as well about how we can really kickstart the business and move it forward and take it to the next level from where it's been at over previous years. And this has led us till today and till next week. So we're extremely excited about what the future holds and for Malahan and Malahan Parts.
That's perfect. Yeah. So, all right, Joe, let's get the big announcement out there. I think everybody knows that it's something to do with parts. So go ahead.
Something to do with parts, but no, really, Matt, it's about how do we make parts easier and more accessible and faster and more convenient for our users. So, Malahan's built a brand and a reputation on delivering high quality equipment, but also delivering exceptional post sale support, be it service, warranty, or parts. And as we looked at ways that we can improve that experience, one of the ways is just trying to create a quicker and more seamless parts procurement process. So if we think about what's the best way to buy things, well, you look at Amazon or you look at other e-commerce platforms. So we said, well, why don't we just do that? Why don't we create a really seamless e-commerce platform that allows customers to go in, type in their Malahan serial number or the part number of the part that they have, or search by descriptive nouns and make it very easy for them to buy parts directly from the OEM. I think what we find a lot of the time is that the big players, Michael's alma mater, Sage or Napa, they're looking for these parts, and we need to make it easy for them to get the parts from us. And from us, they get the right part, very high quality, and we have to price it to where it's of value to them. It's a value add to them. So this is really all about launching our Malahan e-commerce platform at the GSE Expo in Las Vegas on Tuesday. Stevie, keep me right, 1:00. I think we're doing it 1:00 Vegas time.
Yes, that's right. I'll keep you right.
All right, thanks, Ryan.
I usually keep Stevie right too.
All right, thanks, Ryan. You have to edit that out, Matt.
That's all right.
but no, so we're launching that in Vegas, and really it was instrumental to bring Stevie, Ryan, and Michael into the conversation. Stevie, as Ryan says, oversees the post sale support, which includes service and parts. But Ryan's in it every day. He's engaging with our customers. He's working to try and get our parts out as quickly as we can. And then Michael brought a really interesting dynamic with Sage. Sage was a pioneer in building an e-commerce platform, an eSage program that made it easy to procure parts. And this is basically taking it to the next level. So I'll let Stevie speak to it, anything he wants to say, and then take it from there.
Yeah, no, look, I'm very excited about what's happening on Tuesday and what we're doing. So, sort of when Michael came on board with us about 18 months ago, he took a look at the Malahan parts business from the outside, obviously with all his experience, and with his previous company and stuff. So, the big thing that came out of it was a big data cleanup on our side. So, we've thousands and thousands of part numbers, and sort of how we always work was we leveraged off, our operations side of the business. So basically, where they're sourcing their parts, how they describe their part numbers, all that sort of stuff. So Michael's basically done an incredible bit of work, 60,000 part numbers maybe, he's been in the middle of rewriting descriptions, different things like that there. So what did come out of, Michael's first observations was, right, we need to move to e-commerce, and that's the end game. So, ourselves and all our OEMs have tried things like this before where, it's online portals and stuff, all stuff that's been done in-house as such. But so what we wanted to do differently this time, we took on some third-party developers. So a local company, Voodoo Digital, who's designed our website, it's going to be powered by the Shopify platform. And then also Eureka Solutions and other companies. So they do the Sage. Sage is our ERP system for all our parts. So they do the integration to Shopify. So basically, we've outsourced all this because we want it to be slick. We want it to be user friendly. And again, as Joe touched on, how we've sort of worked this was, no matter what you do, whether it's just a simple noun, whether you've got the Malahan part number, the serial number, you're going to find the part you need for your machine. Again, it's all about making it user friendly and seamless. So that's sort of the journey we're on, and launching it on Tuesday. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. So Michael, how long did this take to build out?
Well, in terms of timeline, it's a little hard to define because, as Steve was mentioning, first things first was to clean up all of the data. So rather than just dealing with the parts that they sell day in and day out, on e-commerce, you really have to have a much broader offering than just your everyday business. So, we scoured through all of the bill of materials, all the production data, and pulled out all of the items that we felt that were potentially sellable. So we just didn't look at what we normally sell, but we looked at things that we could make readily available for customers when they do their search. Okay, so now they do their search. How are they going to find the number if they don't know the part number? So we took all of the descriptions and we changed the format to a noun, comma, description, measurement type format. So we rewrote every one of these part numbers individually to extract all of the common noun. So a user can come in, and if they're looking for a filter, or if they're looking for a relay, or if they're looking for any item, that they can go right to the noun description. So today, now with the way the e-commerce system works, if they're looking for a filter and just type filter, all of the filters in the system would come up, but that's pretty vast. So then we had to tie that back to the model numbers and to the actual serial number of the unit. So the way the Malahan e-commerce system is going to work is a customer can go in, put their model number in, put in a common noun if they want or not, or put in the serial number if they want or not. The more filtering you do, of course, the clearer it gets. So, okay, so all of that's great. So they found the item. So now how are they going to know what that item is? Now we took images of very many of the parts, anything that we can get our hands on, we've imaged. So an image can come up along with the result. And that's why I say it's difficult to define a timeline, because we started rewriting the descriptions before we decided to move towards e-commerce. So it's been a process. As Steve mentioned, it's been about 18 months, and it's about 18 months of work to get us to this point, really.
Yeah, it's no easy task building a parts website. I have been a part of one before, and it is a ton of work to make it user-friendly. To get all those photos is just a feat of strength, right? So sounds like you all have put in a ton of work. Can't wait to see it. So will there be parts diagrams as well available?
Not yet. Yes, in the future.
Okay.
We'll move towards all of that. But as you know, Matt, it's a stepping process, one step at a time.
100%. Yeah, I mean the pictures are almost better, right? Because a lot of times you're looking at the part that you need, and you just need to get that visual confirmation that that's the right part that you're going to be ordering. So you'll have like a drill down option then, I guess, by model
and serial number.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
So you'll actually be able to type in your unit serial number and then drill down from there?
Yes.
Well, most people do have that. So, I mean, if they don't have that, they got a lot of problems going on. So, I mean, data plates do go missing occasionally, but I mean, that's a good starting point.
It's a great starting point. And even just description info. You could put in a portion of description, the entire description, any common word that might exist in a description, and it'll filter on any which way. We identified a platform for us that would be extremely flexible from a how do you find the part standpoint.
So I type in my serial number, I find the part that I need. How does my checkout look?
Well, checkout's pretty typical. As Steve mentioned, we're using Shopify as our main e-commerce engine. So the checkout is going to be very typical to what people see on any other e-commerce site. The only difference here is it's not a consumer site. So the customers are all predefined, all our account numbers are entered, all of their particulars as to how they would normally make payment and shipping requirements and all of that is pre-installed. So the checkout for them becomes even easier than most e-commerce sites at this point. So it's all predefined. So it'll go to a shopping cart and then complete the order, and that's all they need to worry about.
So they can put in a PO number, or they can use a credit card. Kind of depends on how they want to do it. And then how are the customers going to get their login information, Joe? So tomorrow I'm ready to start using. Well, not tomorrow, but on Tuesday I'm ready to start using this thing at 1 p.m. How do I go in and sign in and all that kind of stuff?
I'm gonna hand that to Ryan to let him speak to how he plans to manage the usernames. They tell me just enough to keep me in trouble. So
I understand that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, look, we're going to contact all the key people, key customers, and introduce the fact that we've already spoke to several of them, introducing the fact that we're going to go live with this and that they will have unique logins specific to them. The aim is to have an admin within each customer base that can then hand out additional logins to whoever they see fit, whether it be guys in the ramp or guys in the workshop or whatever, so that there's full access to it from their perspective. And then it just from there, I suppose one thing Michael just touched on there was the pricing side of things. So whenever they have that login and that's distributed to them and they log on, all the pricing that's set up will be unique to them. It'll be specific to them with any discounts that have been previously arranged or any pricing that framework or agreements that have been in place. That'll all be built into it from our side, so they don't, the pricing that they get will be specific to them.
That's perfect. Yeah. And then what about order history and all that kind of stuff and shipping and, kind of update me on that once I've kind of completed the order? What does that look like?
Yeah, look, that'll go into a portfolio of everything there, all the activity that you've had whilst you've been under that login, the status of your order. Once the order's complete, then we'll obviously it'll work its way through our ERP system, and then any updates on what's happening with the order will then transfer across directly to Shopify for you to get live sort of data on where your order's at, whether it's been picked, whether it's been packed, whether it's been dispatched. And then once dispatched, then you'll obviously have tracking details that are applicable for you to track your order till it hits you. And then again, very simple setup that you can copy orders that you've placed previously, all extremely user friendly. Any baskets that you've created will stay live for 60 days, I think we're working on at this stage. So if you create quotes in the portal that you don't actually action or pull across to a live order, that'll stay there for you to go back at any point in time to go in and finish out that order and then complete it through the system to us.
Yeah.
I think the other big piece of this is going to be integration. And so, think about all these major airlines, ground handlers, they use the likes of EBIS, or they use AssetWorks, or they use Lytics, or they use any number of different management or web maintenance platforms. This system can integrate into any of those, into SAP, to Napa's procurement, and it allows them to build the connection within their own functionality. So if the customer chooses, they can just simply upload the Malahan connection into their Ariba, SAP, whatever system they're using, and procure the parts that way, and then it connects over into our system. And this is going to make us more efficient on the customer facing side, but there's also a tremendous benefit internally that all of our internal processes are going to move onto this system as well, and it'll make the parts processing turn time a lot quicker.
Yeah, so this is basically just going to kind of, I guess, catapult you guys into the next level of service because, I know your service level has always been extremely high. This just makes it that much better for the customer to have that kind of support and tracking and everything else on the parts side now as well.
Exactly.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I suppose one thing I will add that we're keen to keep to is the personal touch. Whilst we want to have we see this as the next stage in the development of Malahan parts. We're keen to emphasize that what our business has been built on is, the fact that we're always available, emails, phone calls for pricing, for advice on parts, for information on whatever the customer needs. We're not going to lose that with this. That's still going to be there. This is just trying to make everyone's sort of transactional processing of the order easier.
Yeah, for sure. And, it is important to have those personal relationships and, and to know that you're only a phone call away. But I'm guessing that everybody has realized that, and that's the reason they're buying Malahan. But this will allow them to, if they need a part though, and if in a few minutes they can grab a part really quickly and get it tracked to the system. So it's just another level of customer care. I think that'll really help out. And I think this is great that you guys are doing this and launching this at the show, and obviously having Michael involved. I mean, this is big, guys.
Yeah, it is, Matt. And I suppose it's worth mentioning this is obviously, our first go at this here. We have big plans to expand this out even further. It's an e-commerce system, but we want to be more than just buying a part. We want to look at different sales programs, seasonal promotions, eventually then to building service kits for your product and stuff like that. So like I say, it's the first go at this, but it's endless what we can do on this platform, and that's our plan, with Joe and Michael and Ronan and Niall, their investment in this here. They're trusting us with this, so we have big plans here.
Yeah, so this is just kind of the beginning, right? We're going to launch this as a part, but it's going to get eventually expand into more.
Absolutely, yeah, that's our plan. Like, there's many things. It's not just replacement parts. It's services, it's PMs, it's all that sort of stuff. So we want to basically package that all together in here. That it's as simple as entering your serial number, getting whether it's your A, B, C service that you've got them kits under one part number. You order it, you get everything at the one time. So better planning for the guys in the shop, and especially in the off season for the likes of de-icing, things like that they can be de-ice ready come the winter.
Yep, for sure. Well, this is going to be awesome. So we're going to have, when I come to your booth, how's this going to look? How's this announcement going to happen? Are we going to have like a big screen TV, like 85-inch? What are we doing here?
Yeah, no, Laura set us up with some AV for it so we can display the functionality of the system. We've got breakout rooms set up so that the team can take you guys in. We can work on setting up different logins for it. We can work on how the different assets that our customers have currently sit in that system. And so that will help us with setting it up, socializing it. But at the very least, there'll be a monitor there, and we'll talk through how the system will work.
Nice. Okay. And then, well, I mean, are you, so who all's going to Vegas here? Are we all going to Vegas? Everybody on the call?
Everyone of us.
Everyone here.
We're all going to Vegas. So us and Laura, Ronan Malahan, Niall Malahan, all the sales team, Lorcan Dorman, Peter O'Hagan, all our service engineers. It's going to be very well attended from the Malahan side.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. All right. So what questions haven't I asked here, guys? What haven't we covered?
I think we've pretty much covered quite a bit there, especially on the e-commerce website and stuff like that. And then obviously Joe's touched on the team who's going, Ronan and Al obviously is going, we've got our commercial team, and then Joe's touched on our service engineers are going. So obviously this is the e-commerce launch in Vegas, but what we have put a big emphasis on is customer care as a whole, and, taking our service engineers and stuff like that, like they're well known in the industry now. One of them's slowly becoming a legend in the industry, so he's going to be there.
We jokingly say that at this point, the service engineers are the most popular and well-known folks in Malahan than the salespeople. They come in and show these guys how to use their new equipment and fix any problems they're having, and they come onto the booth and they're like, "Hey, Joe, where's Lorcan?" And I said, "Wow, okay, well, I guess they're the stars of the show now."
Those people always are, because they're the people who get things done, right? So
it's like Billy Ash, the one you did with Billy there. Billy's an industry legend. Lorcan's well on his way there, and Peter as well, and all the guys. If you help folks and help them out of problems or questions they have, you become more. You're a friend, a colleague, and that's what creates legends.
Oh man, we should have just ended on that. But speaking of legend, we do have Michael on the call, so we're going to have him on for a full podcast. So we've already been discussing that, and we'll kind of cover his GSE legacy in further detail on another podcast here very soon, hopefully before the end of 2025. So we'll get that set up in Vegas, and I appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you for choosing the GSE podcast to do your soft launch of your e-commerce website. I think everybody's going to really look forward to seeing that in Vegas and logging in and being able to get the great parts support from Malahan.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it, and look forward to welcoming everybody to the booth in Vegas. We'll do the launch. We'll have all of our equipment. We'll have the band. We may have Abby
gotta have the
Hepler
band.
singing again.
Oh yeah, and
We'll have
Abby
the band,
singing.
but we got to get Abby singing. So that's the new component of the entertainment. So
Well, what I've realized
look forward to
is
welcoming everybody.
that Abby's singing comes up once a podcast. So, she might be the industry legend before anybody else, honestly.
Definitely. Well, I look forward to it. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Thank you all so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the GSE Podcast. We hope you found it informative and engaging. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with your colleagues and peers in the ground support equipment community. Your support is invaluable to us. We'd appreciate it if you could take a moment to rate and review our podcast. Your feedback not only encourages us, but also helps expand our reach within the GSE community. Keep an eye out for more episodes as we continue to explore the dynamic world of ground operations, bring you the latest trends, insights, and stories from the industry. Thank you for listening to the GSE Podcast. Until we meet again, stay grounded and keep pushing forward.